All right, we're here. Hey, everybody. You're watching Ballerina Badass. My name is Georgia Reed, and it is time for another Pointe Shoe Party live stream. I'm using my mom's trusty seam ripper. I love this thing. If you haven't seen this, it is great. This is old school. There's all different versions. This one does not have a cover on it, so it's not really wise to carry around, but I do have another one somewhere. It's red with a little mini cover on it. It's nice and small, but I love this for ripping out the thread that I use to sew my shoes. So I am tonight going to work on sewing up those awesome freeds that I found in my box of old shoes last week from frickin' 2000 and whatever. 2001. That's crazy. Yep. I do also have my beautiful brand new Russian points, but I will have to admit I'm more excited about sewing the old ones. I know, creepy, right? Totally creepy, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to see if I can darn the edge. It's tough because I already cut off all of the satin and it's kind of worn its way back a bit. So I'm going to see if I can get into the under canvas area and get an edging around it, like on this shoe, as you can see where I've done in the past, right? Darn the edges. And then what I'll do, I think tonight I'm just going to put on the elastics. I'm not going to put ribbons on, but I will then go and get spray some shellac on the inside of the box. I have spray shellac that I use. You can also get shellac that you can paint on if you prefer. And I'm going to pop it in the oven. I'll set my oven at like, I don't know, 400 degrees. Wait till it gets hot. Then you turn the oven off. Turn the oven off. Don't leave the oven on. Once the oven is off, then put the shoes in. And as the oven cools down, it will bake the shellac into the box and make it hard. And hopefully that'll give this some more life. So that's my goal. Anyway, so I don't need to seam rip anything out of these shoes, but I do need to seam rip. I'm going to take elastic from these other shoes. They just happen to be sitting here with a piece of elastic on them. For whatever reason, I don't know what I was doing. But who knows? And who cares? But I will seam rip this out. Ah. And if no one shows tonight for tonight's, I mean, there are live streams where it's like, oh, wow, how sad, Georgia. No one came to your live stream. Yeah, well, this goes up on YouTube later, so for anyone who wants to watch it later, hopefully you get some helpful tips and tricks. Ooh, Claire Bear, you're here. Yay, hi, I'm not alone. What model are the Russians? They look super pre-arched. I know, right? They seem like it. It's funny. I don't even think about that. There's a bit of a natural arch there. This is so sad. It's been a while, but it says the E Pro E26. I don't remember what that means. That is so sad. Yeah. I used to know. Elevation? I'll look it up later. But here's the sticker, if you can see it. I don't know if you can. Any tips or inspiration for young professional dancers and companies? Dancer 21, hey, oh my gosh, hi! Well, what do you want to know? Okay, so there's plenty of tips. And of course, always remember that my first and foremost main tip is definitely trust your gut. And know that when you're in the middle of it, you'll never fully be able to believe you've made the right choice until years down the road when you look back. And when you do look back, you have to remember you were doing the best you could with what you knew at the time. That's all you can do, is that you're doing the best you can with what you know right now. And you can be hard on yourself if you want. I've done it. I've tried it. I thought it served me, but it didn't. So if you could, as far as young professionals in companies, what are some of your concerns or issues? That would help. And someone else came on. Max Daddy. No, not alone. Just bringing myself to being the first to say hi and good evening. Aw, always enjoy your chats. Oh, that's okay. Hi, Max Daddy. I wonder if that's Mac from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm sorry. I love that show, and I'm re-binging the entire thing. So that or macaroni and cheese, which is one of my absolute favorite foods in the whole wide world since childhood. I just read one of my journals or something from second grade. Favorite food, macaroni and cheese. All right. So yeah, Dancer 21, can you give me some more specific questions? Because I can rant and rave, but I'd love to sort of get a little more specific. It's terrible, right? Also, yes, I still do use waxed dental floss to sew. For me, I love it because it's really easy to pull back out. You just have to make sure you knot it properly. And again, when knotting your thread, first of all, I thread the needle and I double my, you can single it if you want, but I like to double it. It's just easier. I don't know why, but you know what it is that it's that way the thread doesn't slip out of the needle and I don't have to constantly rethread the needle. I like that. So I always double the thread and it makes it a little stronger. But the one thing I will say is when you have your knot ready to go and you're ready to start sewing your elastic, if I don't do this right, those little knots in the thread will rub my skin raw. Even with tights on, the knot will rub, just depending on where it falls on my heel. So I really like to make sure when I put this elastic in that I get that first knot. I try to take the needle and start underneath the elastic and just put the knot in, and then I'll go back through the satin as well so that the knot's like tucked underneath, if that makes sense. But I'm noticing here, actually, I do need to do a little more seam ripping because I have the leftover chunk from way back when. Oh my gosh, and the dental floss is green. Ooh, that was back in the day. I was lazy. I know, this is so sanitary, you guys, but well. I definitely think you should clean up and clean out the old stuff off your shoes if you're going to try and repurpose, reuse them. Also, I have to be mindful, this has an elastic drawstring in it, which I like. In some cases, it can be problematic with, if you have tendonitis in your Achilles heel, but it's also nice because it holds the shoe on. It's just if I'm doing any kind of trimming, I want to be careful not to accidentally cut the elastic so that then it loses everything. That's me. I'm sure some other dancer would say, the first thing I do is cut it out because I hate it. Everyone's different, right? Dancing Plum, hi from Australia. Hey! Oh my gosh. This is going to sound so bad, but how are the koalas? Look, I don't know what it's like living with koalas. Like apparently here in America, we have a big thing for those white exotic birds. What are they called? Cockatoos or something? I used to work at a bird parrot store, but fun thing about turning 40, you just start forgetting stuff. Over here, they're like these exotic birds, but apparently in Australia, they're like pigeons. They're a pest, and you guys have like a zillion of them, and you don't like them, and they're annoying. Is that true? I have heard that. That's right, Claire, you're Australian too. I forgot. Sorry. Okay, all the Aussies in the house, and your amazing, beautiful accent that I have not yet attempted to replicate. I've definitely done British, but not Australian. It's lovely. I have a friend of mine, Jackie. I see her almost every Wednesday in writers group, and she has such a fantastic Australian accent, and I'm always trying to like quietly mimic her to learn it, but I don't want to do it out loud and like sound rude. I've done that in the past. Someone's speaking in an accent, and I start speaking like them, and they're like, "What are you doing? Are you making fun of me?" I'm like, "No, I'm excited about your accent. It's bad." Okay, here's the question from Dancer21. Any tips or insight on body image? Yeah. So right now, as I sit here before you, I'm weighing in somewhere between 135 and 140. And I am 5 foot, almost 7. And for me, on my particular body type, this is some extra, I feel really out of shape. Let me put it that way. I remember being in a company and just hating myself all the time. Just hating myself all the time. And that self-hatred for me created so much extra stress and depression. Now, I'm not saying, you just walk around like, I'm all that, even if you can't fit in your costume, so to speak, but that's all changing too in this world as far as what's acceptable for a body image, dancers of all different sizes becoming more acceptable. If you are in a ballet company where they really want you to be crazy skinny, as I have been in, one, you have to ask yourself if you want to stay in that environment because there's a major trade-off. You will pay a price. And the price is, first of all, that self-loathing. That's a hard thing, and I don't recommend it. I would recommend you find a way at the beginning and end of every day. Halle Berry did this. This is the legend. The legend is Halle Berry, which I personally think she is freaking gorgeous. But apparently, she has self-image issues and does not think she's pretty. Crazy, I think, but whatever. That's how it is. Everyone thinks everyone else is crazy, right? But the thing is, she decided that every day she would look in the mirror and tell herself, you are beautiful. Now, if you have to say, I am beautiful inside and out, or if you find one thing about yourself that you like, my hair's not rocking. I love my hair. I do. I love my hair, and I really love my green eyes. I love it, especially when I put the black eyeliner on and they kind of pop, and I feel like Nicole Kidman, even though I'm definitely not. I love it. Those are two things I really like about myself. And I've always liked my ability to jump. So if you can find one or two things about yourself that you love and focus on those, and then if you have to, just love yourself and say, look, every day we are working our very hardest and doing our best to improve as dancers. Try to be kind to your body. Thank your body parts every day for not falling apart. That's a really good thing to do, for holding you up, for putting up with all of this extra stress. I think that would make a really big difference. If you are in a company where you feel like you are the skinniest you've ever been and it's still not enough for them, you have to seriously ask yourself if you really want to be a part of that company. If you really like working with that director, and I get it, it's scary as hell. Where else are you going to go? Will anyone else ever hire you? What are you going to do? That's a tough call. Some dancers choose to stay in the company. I have friends who were berated every day for being overweight, and they were skinny as all get out. But they were willing to put up with it because they loved the choreography, they loved the opportunities, and they worked their way through it in their own way. Other people I know, I remember a dancer who just walked out, and I remember she just said, I'm not putting up with this. She joined the company I was with, and I think like 6 months later, she's like, this is abuse. I'm not doing it. And she just walked away, and it was totally badass because you could tell she felt like really good about her decision. So you have to come from a really good place. Like, does this feel good to me? Oh, cute. Claire Bear is saying that cockatoos are pretty cool. They like to chat to you and hang upside down on things. Yes, Claire. Yes, they do. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I hope that helps, Dancer 21. Let me know if you have more questions about it, because believe you me, even the skinniest dancer who looks the most confident in your company most likely is dealing with their own personal issues. I have not met a dancer yet who didn't have some kind of issue. And if it's not the body issue, then they're dealing with something else. You know, everyone is dealing with stuff in their lives, and they just don't always want to admit it. I'm starting to think, I always hated like snobby dancers, and then I look back and I'm kind of wondering, did they think I was snobby? Because I was so scared and intimidated. Like I had friends in high school who told me, you seem like you don't need anybody. You walk through the halls like so confident. And I think I was called the Ice Queen by a couple of people, and I realize now, I'm like, I wonder if like people in dance companies thought I was a total, witch with a capital B. And when the truth is, I was just terrified. I don't know. So it's interesting. If dancers could get together and talk more and be more vocal, I just wonder if that would help or not. The biggest problem in companies is the competition. That's the thing, is this whole, you only get so many parts and there's only so many parts available, and everyone's waiting in the wings for the person to get injured so then they get the opportunity. That is a really bad thing to do karmically, okay? I would not recommend that. If I were you, whether you believe in karma or not, I recommend you always cheer your fellow dancers on. If they're a total B with a capital, witch with a capital B, then, just leave them alone, maybe. I mean, if you can't wish them good luck, at least don't wish them bad luck, right? Because trust me, it always comes around from what I've seen. That's just me. I don't know. I could be wrong. Okay, as you can see, I'm still trying to get this dental floss out of here, but I knotted it so well. There we go. All this gunk and junk. Any of this extra gunk and junk is just more stuff that can rub against my heels and instep, or whatever you call that area, and hurt. So I want to get all of it out. See, there's a few little bits in here. I'm going to get these out, clean it up, make these shoes wearable. Hurrah! if it will come out. Are you gonna? You're not, are you? Oh, you're a sneaky little turd. Sneaky turd. Get open. Get open. I'm gonna. Oh, thank you. Okay, good. I'm glad it helped, Dancer21. And yes, I appreciate the good vibes. Guys, it's so weird. I'm struggling with my whole ego thing, right? Because, and I cannot imagine how full-time professional dancers are doing out there. I just heard on the grapevine, Broadway touring shows are basically closed until next fall. Holy cow. If I were 21, 22, first of all, at that age, and still sometimes now, I feel like this is my one shot, and if I miss it, it's going to be too late, and oh my gosh, I'm already too old. I thought I was too old at 14, okay, because Suzanne Farrell joined New York City Ballet, I think, at 14, and since I wasn't already in New York City Ballet, even though I was just some kid in St. Louis, Missouri, hello, I thought it was too late for me. But all of that stress, and then not having a job. Let's say you were on a touring show and now it's stopped and that was your income and now that's gone. And you don't know when it's coming back and you got to wait tables and then you're supposed to somehow stay in shape and be ready at any moment for the time when the show could come back. And then how do you afford all those classes? How do you afford to stay in shape plus wait tables? Man, I waited tables in New York City and it is exhausting. And the last thing you want to do the next day is go to class and try and work out when you then have to go back and wait tables again. It's like all I wanted to do was sleep. Of course, also back then when I was waiting tables in New York, I was at a nightclub called BB King's on Times Square, 42nd Street. Yeah, smoking was still allowed, so I was working till 2 a.m. in a room full of cigarette smoke. And let me tell you, that also does not help. Oh, we have another comment. Yes? As you are just talking about now, what's the current situation status this fall for non-pro adult classes going on in the area where you are? Oh, are most studios just trying to wait things out? That is a great question. I think some studios are moving forward with classes, but they're wearing masks. Guys, I'm sorry. I tried wearing a mask just going to the grocery store and was talking to my husband about what to get, and I was getting tired. I cannot imagine taking a full ballet class with a mask on and not just suffocating and passing out. But that's me. Maybe, again, it's also because your girl's way out of shape. That could be part of it. But that's kind of all I know. You know, I'm a West Side Ballet fan, definitely. I haven't looked into it. I'll go online and check. I mean, you guys, of course, can do your own thing and check. But as a courtesy, I'll do a little digging online for next week's Pointe Shoe Party chat. What are studios doing? What classes? Question mark. Let's see what they say. One thing, yeah, I know, the mask thing is crazy. One thing I am excited about is that they're putting together virtual shows, virtual seasons for a lot of these professional companies. Apparently New York City Ballet has just released their upcoming virtual season. I am very, very interested in seeing that. I have not looked at ticket prices yet, but to have an opportunity to watch New York City Ballet live, even if it's on my computer, very excited. So I want to see that. And I find, look, I was always more of an ABT fan than an NYCB fan. In fact, let's be honest, I was really more of a Russian ballet and like the Royal Ballet. Those are my favorite companies. But part of the reason for that is that my teacher growing up she loved Balanchine. She just didn't want us taking on the affectations when we were working on proper technique. She looked at it as more of a style than a technique across the board. Now, of course, New York City Ballet dancers would probably disagree with that. I don't want to watch New York City Ballet do the old classic story ballets. I have tried watching them. I don't like it. I don't like seeing a Balanchine kind of arm on Coppelia. That's my personal preference. However, nobody does Balanchine like them, and I love it. And they are some of the most exciting dancers I have ever seen. I did not get Tyler Peck for a long time, and then I watched her doing some Balanchine, and I was blown away. No, I don't want to see her do Swan Queen. I don't need to see her do Swan Queen. However, I also don't want to watch Svetlana Zakharova doing Balanchine. I think, you know what? I think it's absolutely great they do it and they try it, and maybe some people enjoy watching Svetlana Zakharova doing Balanchine or Tyler Peck doing a Swan Lake roll. Yeah, Odette O'Deal. Maybe some people like that. Kind of like, but for me, like if I watch hip hop, I want to see a hip hop dancer do it. Watching ballet dancers do hip hop, I find to be, well, it's entertaining. I'll say that. And watching hip hop dancers do ballet is also interesting. Now, if you're doing it on purpose to make a statement or specifically to create a new kind of style, that's one thing. But if you're doing it just to see, can the hip hop dancer get on point? That's different for me. Okay, anyways, that's my immediate rant. So I'm doing this on the elastic. Oh, do I want to do it here? I'm trying to decide. So everyone likes different positions for their elastic. Now, here's this little back piece, right, on the point shoe, and I have to stretch it out. I used to put my elastic way in back. Some people even crisscross it or put it right on the back. I don't do that so much anymore. I tend to put it more like right here or even there, or I'll crisscross it. I'm not going to crisscross these, I don't think, am I? It's if I put ribbons or not. If I put ribbons on, I usually, where my arch falls, I like to put the ribbons right here. So on the back side of that side seam, I'll put the ribbon there. I typically like it to pull up right where my arch is, which means in that case, since this is elasticized, which means it's really going to cling to my foot better than a non-elasticized shoe where, the drawstring is not elastic. That means there can be more gaps in there if it doesn't have a good fit. I'm picky about that. It's ridiculous. I should be thinking more about my technique on Pointe turns than the way my shoe looks. Too bad. Okay, so that means I'll probably put the elastic here. Yeah, let's try it out. And if I don't like it, guess what? You can always pull it back out. This is the fun of not having to worry about getting all of this ready for a performance tomorrow. Part of me really still wants to do Nutcracker again, you guys. And then every time I think about it, I'm like, oh God, the amount of work I'd have to do to get back in shape, to get back on point. It's a lot. Every time you start over again, it's like the hill always seems steeper each time. And as you guys know, those of you who have followed me, I have stopped and started a few times in my career for different reasons, injuries, etc. And I just, I don't know. I think if we can get back into studio classes and I can take studio classes on a regular basis, I'd be willing to give it a shot. I just, and again, mind you, me doing Nutcracker, that's going to mean a tiny studio in a small county nearby. That's good enough for me at this point. But yeah, it seems daunting. I'll admit it. It seems daunting. But I still wish my last Sugar Plum was so disappointing for me. I didn't even get to do the partnering, and that just sucked. I'm sorry. Hated it. Hated that Nutcracker. Have I mentioned that before? Do I sound bitter? Probably. Okay, I'm doing my sewing. Now, you can go in and out of the satin, or if you want to be extra picky and keep it pretty on the outside, I like to do a side stitch so that I catch the inside canvas, but I don't actually scoop up the satin on the outside. It's a picky thing. And I could see if I have do I have a, what do you call those things? Thimble? No. I have like my kits here. I don't think I have my thimble on me though, no. Oh, there's the other stitching needle. That's cool. Extra elastics, extra ribbons, tape, all kinds of different accoutrements for the shoes. And by the way, I need to do this. I got this a while ago, and I have never tested it. I still need to test it, and it'll be interesting to see if the stuff still works. It's that perfect fit point stuff to make a good fit inside your point shoe. I think I'll use it on the Russian point since I still have so many of this particular brand. And I will test it out, and I will make a video of it, because now's as good a time as any, you guys. All right, let me get this stitched, because I do want to get to the darning. Oh, darn. Oh, darn. Want a little bit of diagonal or not? No, I'm going to go straight up and down. Man, it has been a while. Okay. Let's see here. Getting on in it. I like to stitch all the way around the elastic. I do. Although I'm only going to kind of, it's sort of like basting. I'm just doing a few stitches on the bottom. It's more about the sides that I'm interested in getting several stitches, just so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I don't know, can you see that? Da, 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 da. So exciting. Ooh, that perfect fit stuff looks so interesting. I know, right? It's this like goo, and you mix the two components together and you put your foot in it and it makes this perfect fit, so that it's basically like a custom toe pad, right, for your shoes. But I'm wondering if it only fits for that one particular pair of shoes, then I would want to be that professional dancer that has her one kind of shoe that she uses exclusively, and you don't ever deviate or change into other shoes. And as you all know right now, I've got like all different kinds of brands of shoes that I'm trying out. So whatever I choose, I'm assuming it's only going to fit with that particular brand and size. If I'm wrong, I guess I could test that out too and let you guys know. I will say, there's a piece of me that just has been so happy with not feeling the pressure of trying to go pro again. I was trying to go pro again, 2016 to 2017, and right when it was time to audition for companies, I chickened out for two reasons. One, I was worried I wouldn't be good enough, and I just was like, I don't know if I can take that kind of rejection again. And two, there was a piece of me that was even more worried that I would get accepted into one of the companies, and then I would be stuck in a world that I had already left years ago, and that I would be experiencing the same things, which were, one, gross underpay, which now that I'm a stepmom, it's not just about me anymore. I have kids that I have to help support too, and I want to. So that didn't feel good. And two, being around the particular environment of personalities in dance companies. I danced in 3 different companies. I'm sure if I had stayed there longer, I would have found friendships. But in general, it just felt always like I didn't fit in. And maybe that's my fault. I'm sure I've talked about this before ad nauseum. Maybe it's like, well, Georgia, that's just because you're a witch with a capital B. Or it could be, I didn't like that feeling of competition all the time. And I can be very competitive, mind you. But I didn't like that feeling of, you got that role, now I hate you. Now I just hate you because you got this one role. And it's like, okay, that sucks. And always worrying, are you going to get rehired? Every year worrying, are they going to rehire you? Are they going to fire you? And are you too fat? And oh my gosh, injury. All of that stress. I actually read a really interesting post today online talking about anxiety and what causes anxiety. And real things to feel anxious about are those kinds of fears. Money, job security, and then injury, constantly worrying about the pain and managing the pain. And I was thinking about it and I realized, oh my gosh, when I was dancing, especially when I went pro, I was nothing but anxious all the time for a litany of reasons. And then when I finally quit dancing, it's like that anxiety just stuck with me. I was so used to the feeling of being anxious, of being in constant fight or flight mode. And stress fractures, hello, the word stress is right there in the name, in the term of the injury. And I think it's all related. And I wish there was a way to make dancers feel more confident, loved, supported, safe in the company atmosphere. And I'm sure there are companies out there where it is. Maybe. If there are, and you guys know of one, do tell. If you know dancers who do feel good, and it's not just because they're the prima ballerina, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to know. Okay, what does this say? I've been wanting to try, yeah. Oh, okay, so Dancing Plum is talking about wanting to try this perfect fit point shoe insert. So to fill in, you've got a lot of big toe pressure. Yeah. I mean, I've tried, have you tried, the little toe caps and things like that? Or lamb's wool or stuff like that? I'm sure you have. Yeah, it's really, I remember, I think it was only like $35 if I recall for the kit. Maybe a little more. It might be more now. I don't know. But I will make a note to try this out this week. And Then the question's going to be, how long does it last over time? How many performances does it last? I'm not performing right now, so I don't know. But I think I'd want to sort of test that out too, because it's one thing if it's a great fit, but it's another thing if it breaks down, and I just don't know. I'm sure you can Google it. There has to be reviews. I can sort of check for that too, but let's make a note. Perfect fit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The toe pressure thing, that sucks. I get it because my second toe is longer than my big toe, and that has caused me all kinds of problems. And no one really talked to me about it, and I didn't think to ask. That's the thing. As a younger dancer, I don't think we think to ask the right questions, you know? And I just wonder as teachers, if teachers feel helpless because if the student doesn't ask, how can they help? Yeah. But maybe the good ones can because they know better. Just saying. All right. I'm finishing this up. I want to get through this a little bit faster because I want to try and just stitch. I'm going to put the elastic on one shoe and then also, darn it. Darn it! Oh, darn it. Oh, darn. Let's get this knot in a way that it's not going to rip up my ankle. There we go. That's good enough. With my trusty little seam ripper. Thanks, Mom. Rip, I say. There we go. All right, other side. Do I have enough? Well, I think I do. I might cheat it. I might cheat this one just so I can get this done so I can show you guys. And it is getting hot in here. Isn't that nice? All right. Yep, you're the left foot because you're the right foot. Yeah, okay. Let's see if I can get a foot up here. Foot. Pretty ghetto foot. Too bad. And let's get a thingy. Where are the thingies? Oh, that's right. I'm going to be lazy and put this on, and then I'll put the shoe on, because I do want to measure the elastic. Oh, I don't know if my shoe wants to go on with all of this padding in it. That's interesting. Also, my feet might be a little swollen from the day. Okay, so shoe is on. I'm just going to take this elastic here. Now, so see again, right there is where I would put the ribbon to pull up on the shoe, right where my arch is, right? So see, it is behind that area. I hope you can see this. I'm going to take this elastic around and sort of measure that. I also, by the way, it's tempting to want to measure it just with your foot pointed, but you want to flex your foot as well, so you have plenty of room with the elastic to be able to point and flex. Because, man, there's nothing worse than tendonitis in the heel. Oh, my gosh. In the Achilles. It sucks. Big time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sew this like this. Match it. Match it. There we go. Just get it, and then I'll trim it down here in a minute. I'm doing a little bit of a slapdash here. I think it's because I want to get to the, you know, darning. Yeah, Georgia. Keep up. All right. I'm just going to go in and out along the top. Oh, another side note. If you want to be extra mindful, if you want to be able to tighten or loosen your drawstrings, if you have a drawstring in your shoe, it's important you don't stitch into the drawstring, because if you do, then you can't get a full tightening or loosening, right? That could be a problem. So be mindful as you're sewing to avoid the elastic. Now for me, these are set, so I'm not that concerned, so I'm not as worried about it. Some teachers are so picky, you know, before you go pro, where they want to like make sure it looks pretty, and sometimes I feel like they're so concerned about the way it looks and they're not as concerned about are you actually sewing your elastics and ribbons in a way that's going to help support your foot, because every bit of it counts. Every bit. That's my opinion, at least. Okay. You, my little friend. There you go. I think I will just do that for now. I'll go down the side a little bit, but not much. Again, just so I can get this on here. I think what I'll do also, I'm going to put these shoes on in my little studio in the garage and just play around with them and see how they feel, and I'll make a little video of it. People love watching the people just mess in their toe shoes, right? Where it's just a close-up on the shoes and they're messing around. It's interesting. I don't mind doing that because that does not require a lot of crazy tricks. Ah, it's just fun. Okay, that there. There we go. Now I'll need to trim the rest of the elastic later. I don't have scissors on me for some reason. My kit does not have that right now. Darn. But I want to see. Let's just see if I can get in to the shoe with the darning. This started out really thick. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay. This needle is going to be way too thick. As you can see, it's too thick in diameter to go through all of this shoe, and it's not as strong a point. I think I'm going to try this same one. Now, I do have that rounded hook needle. You know, there's names for these things, and I don't remember them. Too bad. Yeah, here. I've broken needles trying to darn in the past. So this guy, he can be good for darning. Let's see. You know, we'll do a test. Let's see if the needle will go. I'm trying to go through the canvas here. It does, you guys! Oh, yeah. Okay, now let's see if this needle goes through. Because the other hard part is it has to go through and then also pull the thread through. This one's working. I'm going to stick with this one for now. Okay, I'm going to set that extra dental floss aside. Let's see if I can thread it. I also like to have needle threaders in my kit. Those are helpful. If you don't know what those are, they're old school. I'll pull this as this long, and I do double it up again. Let's see if this works. I don't know, guys. Now I'm starting to think maybe I should go with the rounded one. I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyone rounded or straight? Rounded. I'm going to try rounded. I'm doing rounded. I know. It's so exciting. Nerve-wracking even. Oh my gosh. So nerve-wracking. Okay. Yeah, this is the trick though. Whatever thread you use, you have to be careful not to let it get all knotted up. If you take your time, well, I do at least. I'm sure other people have other methods and ways. I know Joy Womack does a whole major thing on her shoes. I haven't checked in on her in a long time. I think she's with Boston Ballet now. I read this thing about her saying apparently she was making like $200 a month when she was a principal dancer with the Kremlin Ballet or something like that. Guys, I made $200 a week when I was an apprentice with Cincinnati Ballet back in 2000, and that felt like I had to work a second job just to make ends meet. This chick was making $200 a month. What? I don't care if it was $500 a month. That's crazy. That is just crazy. I cannot imagine. Okay, now the question becomes, for me, I could stitch around to try and catch all of this satin to try and sort of tie it down, and then do a second round to get more of a box, like a platform. That's a great thing to figure out. I definitely don't want to do it after shellacking, because once the shellac goes on, sometimes it'll seep through, and then you can't stitch into the fabric because the fabric has turned so hard. Let's try. I think I'm going to just focus on getting the platform for now, and then if I want to go out around further, I can. Let's see. Oh my gosh, you guys. I don't like to start on the bottom, because if the knot at the end of this is on the bottom and I'm constantly on that spot, it'll wear the knot out. You can also go back and either I'll take a little bit of clear nail polish and sort of brush that spot just to make sure that the knot does not come undone. The knot does not. Last I heard, Joy Womack was with Boston Ballet, and I think she's recently engaged, but I have no idea who to. How can you not know who this dancer is engaged to? I'm sorry, I'm a total jerk. I've never gotten into that whole thing. I guess, you know what though, I'll bet you like the younger me would have totally been into that and wanted to know. So yeah, I can't really give anyone a hard time for that. Hopefully it's a nice person, whoever they are, after that whole thing with Catherine Morgan. See, I do know about that. I just remember seeing videos go by about her talking about her wedding, and then all of a sudden it's like she wasn't with him anymore, and apparently that guy was really not good in many ways, and now she's with a really nice guy. So see, here I am, being a complete hypocrite. Hypocrite! Hypocrite, Georgia. Okay, so just to show you guys what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just starting there. I'm going to double back and do an X. I like to do a crisscross. Yeah. I'm like, do I like to do a crisscross? Yes, I do like to do a crisscross. Let's do it right now. I know, if I were really awesome, I'd have the camera up close and personal. But I have a video on this, you guys. If you go and look, there's a video on how to darn your pointe shoes. And I do get close-ups of me actually doing this darning so you can sort of see the process a little better. So go check it out. It's old. It's from like, God, 2015, I think. Yeah. But it's the same thing I'm doing now. So I'll go down and up, and then I'll cross back over. What happened? Oh. Who autographed that pointe shoe? Oh, yeah, I did, because I am a dork. I autographed this pointe shoe because way back then, I guess I thought I was going to give it away to somebody. Because, like, I was a sponsored dancer with a ballet company, and I was going to be famous, yeah. And then I never gave them away. So, yeah, I'm going to wear my own shoes that I autographed because I can. Great question. Yeah. Catherine Morgan looks way happier now. Just way happier. Just fantastic. Again, she had a post, a video where she talked about how more and more she's realizing how important it is to talk about body image for dancers and what can we do to change the way this industry is in terms of body shaming dancers if they aren't basically unhealthy, anorexic, hurting, a level of skinniness that just is not healthy. It's just ridiculous. It encourages injury and self-hatred and eating disorders. So many things because you want to be skinny like a swan. But I've got news for you guys. Swans aren't skinny. Swans are fat. They got these huge fat white bodies. There's this nice long white neck. But like the more I watch Swan Lake, you guys, especially being out of the dance world, because, when you're in it, it's like, for me, I become obsessed. And I'm like, oh, look at how her elbow like sticks out. Like, I always wanted those arms. Look at this. Look at the hello right here, right? But I wanted those arms that were like bigger here and smaller here. And like, just thought that was the most beautiful thing in the world. Now I sort of start watching. And while I can still see what I love about ballet, I'm also kind of like, wait a minute, swans don't have long legs. Swans' necks are this long, and why is the dancer, like, if you really saw a swan try and, like, Dave LePayette's little flapper flipper, wouldn't that be ridiculous? Wouldn't that be ridiculous, you guys? I mean, come on. I'm just saying. If you think about it, it's kind of silly. It's like they should have done it on, what are those birds in the wild, in the marshes? They've got those flamingos even have more long legs. Why, Flamingo Lake. And it'd be pink. Pink is okay. That's ballet, right? All of this should be part of my ballet stand-up routine. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Terrible. I know. Oh, wait, we have a comment. A lot of things that happen in dancers' lives that are just not our business. Yes, Claire Bear. Yeah. That's the thing. The obsession with celebrity now and like, what's your favorite food? I just was reading up. So the other day I put the movie Practical Magic on. It's from the 90s. It's got Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. I absolutely love that movie. And then I was thinking, I wonder what it was like to be Sandra Bullock, because now you can just Wikipedia them to find out sort of what they've been going through. And the more I've been looking up actors as of late who've become really famous, the more you start seeing they are just human beings who have had all kinds of challenges. So this whole idea of, when I'm famous, my life will change for the better. And it's like, no, it'll just be a different set of problems. Some things will be better, sure, money or whatever, but other problems will arise. And you'll have to contend with those. So the goal, at least for me, is be happy right now where you are, no matter what. Can you at least be content and grateful or find pleasure in your life despite the challenges that you have, because no matter where you go, there will be challenges and problems. Get this, you guys, Sandra Bullock had not one, not two, but 3 stalkers, one of which committed suicide. I mean, it's cray-cray. Cray-cray. And it's like, I guess they think that Sandra Bullock is just this so approachable character. She's just like the girl next door. They just have to be friends with her. I'm like, that's messed up. We don't know these people. We don't know what they're like in real life. And who cares what they ate for dinner? But, I don't know. Anyways, okay, yeah. I know, I'm ranting. I can tell, I'm like, no one's commenting on my rants. That must mean I am ranting a bit too much. In the meantime, though, for sewing purposes, let's look at the progress. Yes, okay, it's not pretty. I haven't done this in a long time, you guys. All right, so it's coming along. I'm probably going to want to do, I'll do a full round. I might do a second round after that to sort of shore it up. Or I might just be lazy and go, nah. I'm just excited to get these shoes back on because they fit like a glove. And I want to look up Freed of London and say, hey, is that maker who does the box shoes still around? Wouldn't that be incredible? And even if they were around, like they'd be like, oh yeah, we'll give you shoes at $200 a pair. Suck it. That is the one fabulous thing about being in a ballet company. At least a good one, like a union ballet company. I don't know what the non-union ones do. Los Angeles Ballet, I don't know what you do. Or maybe you've gone union, I don't know. But the union companies, you get all the Pointe shoes you need. That's what it was like back in my day, at least. Oh my gosh, it was incredible. Never ran out of shoes, and that was awesome. Okay. Ooh, Claire is bringing up, yes, we were going to discuss LGBTQIA today. Yes, ma'am, we were. Oh, Desnata says, show your feet if you want more to come to your YouTube live. Ha! Is that a foot fetish thing? I'm telling you, I'm going to mention this again. You foot fetish people, stop. I'm just not doing it. But if you're just a regular dancer and you want to see more feet, here we go. Hello. They're kind of awful and messy right now, and I haven't stretched them in a while. So ta-da! There they are. It's a pointing point. Yep. That's okay though. I came back to doing this again. This actually is because I want to be here for you guys to create a safe space to rant things out. Just like, for instance, the LGBTQIA situation. Tell me what the concerns are, okay? Because I want to know, what do you want to discuss about this? Like, is it... I'm going to be honest here. What I know is that there are a lot of male dancers coming up who want to dance female roles. I know that's a thing. But what else is going on? Is there still a lot of discrimination against gay dancers in the ballet world? Or in the dance world in general? What's going on? What is it that you specifically want to talk about that? Because for me, when I was in ballet companies, there were tons of gay guys. There were also tons of straight guys. I mean, there was kind of a mix of both. And then as far as girls go, well, I mean, we all thought our director was gay, but she denied it and whatever. I think she was even married to a guy. But who knows? Again, that's kind of that whole, is it really our business thing? No, it's not. So, Claire says, we need more room for trans dancers. Oh, yeah, that is a thing. That is a thing. It's interesting. If we get trans dancers who transition from being male to female, I'd be curious to know if that would create an elite dancer that would be perhaps... Would they still struggle with weight issues, or because of their particular genetic makeup, would it be easier for them to maintain a good muscle mass without, and also stay thin? Is that a thing? Or do guys struggle with weight issues just as much as females? I'm curious about that, right? Is that something that would happen? What about if there are females transitioning to male? Will they have the ability to train in such a way that they can then lift women? Because the whole belief has always been men are just genetically have more upper body strength, which could be years and years and years of genetic you know, just years and years of it being that way, or is it the way they've been raised and trained? I don't know. Curious. Ooh, Desnada says, in Indonesia, very big community was like your bunion feet. Do you have a problem with your feet after dancing? Stinky, sweaty bunion. Oh, okay. I think what you're asking, Desnada, do I have a problem with my feet after dancing? Of course they're stinky. Of course. Sweaty? Yeah, sometimes. You actually want to keep them pretty dry. There's a whole, I could talk on that in a whole separate video. Ways to keep your feet dry, different things you can do. But it's a balance. You want to keep your feet dry, but you still want to keep the skin supple so that it doesn't crack. Because, God, when your foot cracks because you've tried to over dry it out, that's even worse, right? So you're keeping that balance. And then my bunions are hereditary. That is not from dance. For me, my grandmother had bunions. I would have had these with or without the dancing. Other people, I think that pointe shoes can aggravate your feet, and possibly for some people it can, it can exacerbate the problem. But for me, no, I would have had these regardless. That's me. The same debate has been ongoing for a while now for athletics in track and field. So that's my question. Amateur. No, it's okay. I know. Here's the thing. The first question I always want to ask is, what are you afraid of? What am I afraid of? That usually is what I find to be at the heart of most of these problems. So for instance, oh my gosh, if trans people are allowed to dance, then there's going to be less opportunities for me as a girl to dance these roles, because there'll be all of these trans dancers who are just quicker, better, faster, and more beautiful, and more fierce and fearless and all this, and I'm going to miss out. That is a limited way of thinking. If people think of this like pie, everyone thinks there's limited pieces of pie, and the problem in the ballet world especially, I think, is that whole... It's set up that way in the first place, with there's only one person can be the Swan Queen. Well, actually, no, there's a couple different casts. Well, actually, no. But there's still just that feeling of not everybody can be the principal dancer, right? That's tough. So there's so much fear around that, right? How can we change that to more of a theater company? I don't know. Can there be a ballet company that hires dancers in such a way that every dancer gets an opportunity to be the principal? Every dancer gets an opportunity to be the core dancer. I don't know. Then would people be screaming socialism, communism, horror, death, evil? Would ticket sales suffer? I don't know. I'm curious. Is that something possible? And then, okay, Desnada is asking, I see one moment your toenail is crack. What that caused dance? I don't know if my toenails are cracked. I don't think they are right now. They're actually, at least in my opinion, doing well. But yeah, that could certainly be caused from dance if you're not caring for your feet. I should do another video update on properly caring for your feet. Again, it's important it's daily maintenance, right? Again, not letting them get too wet so that you get blisters and things like that, but then also not too dry so that they crack. That's tough. Okay, Claire Bear. I used to work out with my MTF friend when we lived in the same building on campus, and we were both on par with everything, and hormone therapy definitely evens things out. Interesting, really? Oh my gosh. I want to hear more about that. That's fantastic. That's really interesting. Really interesting. See, and again, it sounds to me like there's no sense of fear or worry there, right? It's a sense of just acceptance. Guys, the whole thing with people being afraid, I catch myself in it sometimes. I'm thinking, but my fear usually, at least for me, I always felt like my fear was I want to think someone will call me out on this and go, BS, I remember when you did this, Georgia. But I want to think I was most often in competition with myself and worried I'd never be good enough to get to the level that I wanted to. I'm trying, but no, that's okay. There we go. Now I'm remembering. Coming back. In high school, I was totally jealous of Jackie. Jackie, if you're out there, you ever look at this video, you know who you are. Jacqueline Fritz. She was a beautiful dancer, and she was just built for it, you guys. I mean, she was naturally skinny. Now, it'd be interesting if she, like, came on this video or, like, on this chat and was like, actually, I struggled with this, 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 and this, and you didn't know that. But yeah, she was, like, my nemesis. And I remember there was a year where there was a ballet piece and a modern piece, and they gave me the lead in the modern dance, and they gave her the lead in the ballet dance. And wouldn't you know, that modern piece was one of the coolest pieces I've ever done in my life. Still to this day, I love it. Beautiful piece by Jill Barr. And I was jealous of Jackie because she got to do the ballet piece, and everyone knows ballet is better than modern, and that's my parents talking, because they just loved ballet, and ballet is, you know, acceptable, and it's something to be proud of. Modern dance, well, you know, and I'm sure if my parents were here right now, they'd say, that's not how we felt, Jiffy, but it's how I felt they felt. You know that feeling? Yeah. Whether or not it's true, definitely, that's how I felt they felt. So anyways, the stereotype would have been that she surely would have been ahead of me, but I never cared. All I wanted was to laugh and sweat with my friend. Claire, yeah, exactly. There's always going to be someone better than us and always someone worse than us. It's just when the dancer gets to that place of, oh my God, this person's going to A, steal my job, B, steal my role, and especially in situations where, and I've been in this, you're rehearsing your part, and the understudy is right there behind you rehearsing. And they're just waiting in the wings. And they have to be ready. But you get this feeling, and I've had this. Case in point, that situation with Jackie. I remember realizing, I think my parents were talking about it, and the ballet mistress was talking about it. They were sort of dangling roles in front of me, hoping that I would lose more weight. Mind you, I'm like, what was I, 17 at the time, 16? And you're trying to trick me into losing more weight by dangling another roll in front of my nose? That sucks. I think that's messed up. But that's me. Okay, I've already screwed up a little bit because I've lost sight of the actual platform. But oh well, I'm going to keep going. I'll do a double stitch around and come again to kind of flatten out because I want to create a platform. That's what I'm doing, is trying to sort of make that strong again so it doesn't break down as quickly. This is my goal. And it's fun to practice on old shoes because on the one hand, I am potentially using up resources, meaning my darning thread, but it's not that expensive. I am not that worried about it. I can't imagine, though, if there's dancers out there right now who can't work, maybe a thing of darning thread is something you can't afford. If you are a professional dancer out there right now, and you are worried about things like you can't afford darning thread, let me know. I'm just talking darning thread right now, guys. I have some major debt I am working to pay off, and I am getting out of debt. I will be debt-free in, I don't want to jinx it, so I don't want to tell you guys, but I'm working the Dave Ramsey plan. I love Dave Ramsey's method of getting out of debt, and I am doing it, and it's kicking ass. But would be more than happy to mail you, not this, I don't remember where I got this, but finding darning thread and sending you some darning thread in the mail. If you're overseas, you're going to pay for shipping and handling. Sorry. But, so that kind of defeats the purpose. But if you're here in America, and there's not a lot of shipping and handling, and you need darning thread, I'd be happy to send that to you. I'm going to go on the record and say that. But that's just because right now we're in the COVID crisis. Okay, here we go. Teenage brains. Yeah, exactly. So the first, Desnata says, the first problems of dancers, more dancing girls have pitted keratolysis problem on her soles because of a long time sweaty feet in her shoes and sweat caused dancing. I'm catching half of what you're saying, Desnata. It looks, I've got to look up keratolysis because I've never heard of that. That sounds terrible. If anyone else here knows what that is, oh, stinky and embarrassing. Yeah. I would say in the world of dance, considering how stinky everyone gets, yeah, everyone gets embarrassed by it, but also everyone's kind of stinking in different ways. So, you know, you find different ways to deal with it. Yeah, there are different levels of stink, for sure. You know, BO is a thing, and being mindful about that and keeping yourself clean. The foot thing, though, that is, I don't know what to say about that. I got to look that up. I have not heard of that. Claire Bear says, at one of my old dance studios in a rural town, there was a girl who was incredible, but everyone in the area knew her for being a total witch with a capital B, so no one wanted to watch her dance. That sucks. That totally sucks. Yeah. It's interesting. I have known situations where I was told a girl was a total witch, and then I met her and realized she wasn't the witch. It was all the people talking about her who were the witch. They were the witches, and they were jealous of her, and they were trying to talk down on her. That was a major lesson. I'm not saying that's the case with this person. It sounds like if everyone across the board knew she was not a nice person and she was not nice to anybody, okay, then yeah, you've got a situation with someone who is no good. But it's weird. When people get jealous, they love to talk smack. That is not good. Anyways. Yay, we're coming around the bend. Hurrah. I'm going to shut this down after I completely come around the bend. So I'm looking at the way I'm going, another half hour. Ah, but it's fun. I'm getting something done. Yay. So just so you can see, starting to come around. Once I finish it, I'm going to put the shoe back on and I will show you guys. I'll kind of try and get my foot up here in my self so you can sort of see what it looks like. Because that, again, is one of the main purposes here. But yeah, I think there's going to be all kinds of major shifts in the dance world that are happening as the world shifts in its own way. And accepting transgender dancers will be, I think, a wonderful thing. Because, again, who cares what body part you have? Can you dance or can't you? Can you do the steps? Can you lift the other dancer? Can you get the job done? Do you have artistry? Are you enticing to watch? Do you sparkle on stage? Do you inspire joy or, just any kind of emotion in your audience? That's your job. I don't care what is down there so much as what are you bringing as an artist? Shouldn't that be the only thing that matters? Shouldn't it? I think so. So, yeah. Anyways. Why don't you make more channel to show your... no. See? No. Okay. My dear does not... I don't want to do the sexy. So, we're going to remove that. No. And please... time out for you, my dear. I know you might be mad at me for doing that, but I just don't like talking about... No talking about the sexy feet. Yes, Claire Bear! You don't dance with your genitals. You should make a t-shirt that says that. That's hilarious. So hilarious. Very, very appropriate. Which, speaking of appropriate, did I tell you guys last week? I think I might have. I did post my 2-minute stand-up set that I did recently for a showcase for America's Got Talent. But for me, and no, I don't think I got on the show at all. But it was a lot of fun. I got to, it went online. So I posted my own cut of it. It's on my other channel, Georgia Reed Comedy. And it's about being an inappropriate stepmother. And I like it. So I've got 2 sets now talking about being a stepmom. Now I've got to I want to branch out into other topics. And I do want to come up with a comedy routine about ballet that everyone's going to enjoy. And that's going to be tricky because I know a lot of people just don't necessarily connect with the elite world of ballet so much. It's just not a thing for a lot of people. And I get it. I really do. But we'll see. All right. Let's get this going. Keep going with me. Yeah, you think so, Max Daddy? Max Daddy says one shouldn't make early on cracks about feet fetishes. Look what happens. Yep. Not gonna joke about that anymore. Yeah, no. It's not my jam, people. I remember considering it for a while, as far as apparently you can make a ton of money just showing people your feet. But I just was like, that's creepy, and it's just not a good look. I don't know. I had problems with it. I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, I don't know. I don't feel great about it. So I think several years ago, I did send one video to one person. It was just like me stretching my feet like a dancer. And even that, I was like, this is wrong. This is wrong. I feel wrong. So I didn't do it ever again. But I'm owning it. I'm owning it right here on my channel. Go ahead, send the police. Horrible, horrible person. For sure. Yep. Yep. Gonna burn in hell for that one, folks. Now, here's the tough part. When you're darning, the thread loves to kind of like twist. So every so often I have to untwist it. And also you have to be careful. This thread, if I pull on it too much here, it will eventually wear out here and then break off. And then you're kind of SOL. You got to just tie it off and start a fresh piece again. So I try to be careful about that, not to over-exhaust the thread as I am pulling it through. I'll pull like from here, not from the needle, so that it doesn't stretch there. Ah, Claire, you got to make your money somehow. Yeah, that's the thing, Claire. As a professional dancer, you're wondering, how am I going to make money? And, you know, there's nothing worse than wondering where you're going to get enough money just to survive and afford to live while you pursue your dream of being a dancer. It just blows my mind, right? Sometimes I get so angry, I feel like saying, gosh dang it, American ballet companies, if you can't afford to pay your dancers a living wage, you shouldn't be a gosh darn ballet company. And then everyone goes, oh no, we need the arts, and that's not their fault. And, you know, these dancers, well, they'll figure it out, and that's just a terrible way to think about it. And you're right. I mean, it's like, it's easy for me to sit here on my high horse and say all that, but I do get angry about it. I find it very frustrating. So yeah. Okay, pull that through. Crisscross. I'm starting to schwitz in here. That's okay. Get down the thingy. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, if it was a company in any other industry, there would be strikes, etc. Yeah, dancers are too scared to strike. It's funny, right? If you're in a union, you can. If you're in AGMA, you can. But even then, there's that feeling of such a small world. If you say the wrong thing to the wrong person, you'll be blackballed, right? That's not a great position to be in. I will tell you what. Not a great position to be in. Again, living in fear. It's just not healthy. It's not healthy for your soul. It's not healthy for your body. I have lived it, so I'm telling you, I say that with compassion. I know there's people that, don't be afraid, be strong, be magical, and it's like, yeah, easier said than done when you're in it. Easier said than done. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Dawn's here. Dawn Catanach! Word, artists should be paid. Yeah, artists should be paid a lot. Case in point, you guys. You'll love this, right? So you know me. I've been dancing since I was 9. I danced professionally for many years. Let's just say over 10. I've danced in companies. I've toured. I've been on TV. I've done all kinds of stuff, right? And I worked with an artist several years ago. And at that time, she paid. And at the time, I thought it was good pay. It was decent pay. I got per diem. I got paid pretty well. And so years went by. And out of the blue, when was it? A couple months ago, this same artist reached out to me via email and said, hey, I'd like you to do a project here down in the South. And I'd be interested to know, it's the same project we did before, but I'd want you to rehearse for at least I think like at least a month while you're out in LA, and then I'll bring you down to the state in the South. I really want to keep it a little bit incognito because I do like this person, so I don't want to call them out by name, but I do want to call out the situation because it bugs me, right? And I didn't say this to them, but I'm sharing it now. So at least a month of working here on sort of revamping the choreography, reviewing it, sending videos to this person, and then going down there for, I think, at least a month, if not more, to work on it's like a multimedia kind of project, working on the stage and everything. And then they said, what would you want for a rate kind of thing? And so I said, I think about it. And I remember, I think before I even could send my rate, they reached out to me again and said, would you be willing to just sort of work for per diem and then just stay here for free with me? And I'm like, son of a bitch. Now, I understand this artist is probably on a tight budget themselves. Probably. But to ask a dancer, that's like asking, no, you can't do that. SAG-AFTRA rates, I looked at equity rates, okay? Because if it's a live performance on stage, equity rates. No, this does not stand. It does not stand. There needs to be an hourly rate or a daily rate or, a weekly chunk rate. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And this person was basically asking me to work for almost free for just to get to stay down there. I'm like, no. And so I very kindly said, no, that's not going to work for me. That I can't afford to do that. But you might find a dancer down there in your area, in a local company. There's lots of talented dancers out there who probably could do it for you just as well. And hopefully it worked out. I didn't follow up. So, and I still consider them a friend. I can't, it's their choice, but I just, damn it, you guys. Like, come on. Unbelievable. Okay. Worrying about money is the worst. Yes. Ooh, there's more things. Claire says, dancers are people too, work super hard, right? Yeah, exactly. Every dancer should have a backup so they don't have to settle for a company that treats them like cattle. I know, right? Unbelievable. How can we empower dancers that way? I think about that often. It's so great to find a way, but you also have to have dancers who are willing to stand up together to fight. They've dealt with this as far as union versus non-union actors, right? So producers get to the point where they're like, oh, well, we'll just, if union actors want too much money, screw it. We'll just use non-union actors because they're just pieces of meat anyway. We'll find somebody willing to do this who won't stand with their fellow artists because people are hungry and starving and desperate and for all different reasons and just want the opportunity. And of course, especially in America, there's that feeling of, well, in America, anyone can pull themselves up by their bootstraps and become a star or a major success overnight or whatever. And, it's like the lottery. Yeah, one person each time can win that. But no one wants to talk about the thousands, if not millions, hundreds of thousands, millions of other people who don't make it, who can't make it, And that sucks. That just sucks. I'm not saying I'm totally anti-capitalism, but I don't think any one system is perfect. Let's just put it that way and avoid getting into a potentially dangerous area here. Okay, so yeah. But yeah, dancers, over and over again, what I've seen and heard is dancers are the least respected monetarily. Everyone loves what they do. It's like black magic. And I go, wow. And I just broke the needle. Guys, see what happened? I got lazy. I went too fast. My hands have gotten a little sweaty. I was pushing at the end. And so the needle broke off. There you go. So what do you do in this situation? Great question, guys. You take the needle and you throw it away somewhere safe and you cry because you've lost this really great needle that you loved and you feel like a jerk for messing it up. So where can I put it where it's safe? I'll put it in this tissue. Tissue needle. Don't forget to throw it out. Don't step on it later like a moron, because that's something I could do. Like a maroon. Such a maroon. You all remember Bugs Bunny. Now, I removed all parts of the needle. Here's the leftover. What I'm going to do, I'm going to seam rip this in half. Take each side here, and I'm going to tie it a few times in a knot. That's what I'm doing. It ain't fancy, but it'll just tie it off. Luckily, I just got around the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and put this shoe on and show you guys kind of what it looks like here once I tie this one more time. At least I got all the way around once, and I was almost out of thread anyway. I'm still miffed that I lost the needle. That just sucks. Now, something I can do here also to ensure that little piece isn't great. I'll take a little bit of nail polish here. I'm not reading the comments. Sorry, guys. I will catch you in just a second. This is just a cheap sort of pinkish nail polish. I'm being a little bit lazy. Clear is the best. You don't want to use too much. You don't want to create a slick spot. But I'm going to just nail polish this spot. So it just sort of, now if I were really cool, I'd find a way, yeah, to tuck this little extra piece in underneath. Tuck, tuck, get in there. Tuck it in, tuck, tuck. You do not want to tuck, do you? There's a word that rhymes with tuck that I'm thinking about right now because this is frustrating. There. Yes. So, gotta stuck it down. Let's see what people are saying here. What are we saying? Claire Bear says, I'm an astrophysicist in training. Heck yeah! So maybe I don't have the same perspective that someone who trains pre-pro does, but it doesn't make sense to not have backup skills so you can stand up for yourself. I sew a lot, evening gowns, etc. Would love to dabble in tutu making, and I've lost many needles to point shoes. Yeah, thank you, Claire Bear. Yeah, I would love to also get more into tutu making, right? It's a whole nother thing, though, so later. But as far as being an astrophysicist in training, that's awesome. I'm sure you follow that one ballet dancer. She's a ballet dancer, and she's an astrophysicist. She's awesome. Yes, I think a lot of today's dancers are thinking more along those lines of making sure they have a backup. I was one of those dancers who was like, it's ballet or nothing. It is ballet or nothing. Now, I still had to get straight A's in high school, and that's been helpful because I know if I ever want to go back and finish college or like to get, like my master's or whatever, go to the next level, I have good grades to fall back on. I got good grades in college as well. But I felt very much like I just had to have this laser focus. So even though I love sports, I gave up. I was playing basketball and track, and I played oboe and piano, and I was in the chorus choir, and I was doing Model UN, and I was, I was doing all kinds of stuff, and I slowly gave up each one of those things to just do ballet. And part of me regrets that. I will admit it. But the other part of me says, well, but then maybe you wouldn't have gotten as far as you had if you had tried to do those other things. And again, this comes back to what I said at the beginning of this video, which is you can only do the best you can at the time with what you know at the time. And everyone, I think everyone is doing that. Maybe not the truly evil mustache twirling people, but like whenever I feel mad about something that maybe my parents did, I remind myself they were doing the best that they could at the time with what they knew. They absolutely were. And I love my parents. Yes, I feel frustrated about some of the things and the way they happened, but it's not like I can just say, it's all your fault. I mean, I can, but what good does it do, right? I just feel that accountability is important. Owning the mistakes, talking about the mistakes, apologizing, and then moving on, right? Letting go, forgiving, moving on, which is something I'm still working on. So, I don't know. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. As a perfectionist and people pleaser who was always trying to figure out what is the right answer, getting to the point where I was almost frozen in fear because I couldn't take a step because I was worried. Any step I took in any direction, my brain was already thinking of all the ways it could go wrong and catastrophizing it instead of just going, just take one baby step in this direction. It's okay. It's more like a ship in the ocean with the rudder and back. The ship never really goes straight. It's always veering right or left. You just make gentle shifts with the rudder, and that keeps you on the overall straight path. If you're constantly going back and forth on the rudder really hard, like I was, over worrying and over fearing, then it's like you're never going to be able to move forward because it's just back and forth, like a pendulum swinging too far in either direction, right? Any of that makes sense. Okay, we got more comments. Claire Bear says, yes, she's amazing. I hope to become an astronaut. Oh, yes, that one. Oh, yes, in the future. Claire Bear, you want to be an astronaut? Heck yeah. Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. If you become an astronaut, oh my gosh, I want a shout out from space. What? That's so self-centered. I'm so excited for you. Don't worry about my shout out. If you do it, I'll love you forever, but it's okay. It's okay. That's amazing. Claire Bear also says, empathy gets you a very long way and certainly makes you happier. Yes, it does. And Dawn says, I did the opposite. Hit my goals in ballet and moved on to the other things. I miss dancing, though, so I came back to it a few years ago. Dawn, that's fantastic. And that's the thing is, we really can come back in different ways. And it's hard, because for me, I felt the only way I could succeed was by becoming a principal ballerina with certain companies. And had I known that there's just so many other ways to do it, that can be rewarding and satisfying. I'm still disappointed, though. I'll admit it. I still wish I'd become a principal ballerina in a major company. And I watched, Sarah Lamb, who I trained with at Boston Ballet. She did it, and you see that, and you're like, oh, they were like just a few feet away from me at the bar. Doesn't that mean that I should have made it too? It's like, and then I go, no, you weren't good enough. You can't compare yourself to Sarah Lamb. My gosh, she was amazing, and you suck. And it's like, no, we don't need to pendulum to the other side and hate ourselves. It's just, that was her path. This is your path. You're here now. May as well make the most of it. Or just continue to be unhappy and bitter and sad and see how that works out for you. And you know what? I'm kind of tired of feeling that way. So I'm going to put the shoe on. Ooh, we have a couple more comments. The best thing my therapist said, no shame in getting help for mental illness. Heck yeah, I'm all about therapy. Love therapy. And she says the best thing her therapist told her was to give me permission to fail. Oh my gosh, and that took a load off my shoulders. Yes. Guys, for all you perfectionists out there, learning to fail can be one of the greatest lessons you will ever learn. If you can learn to fail, oh my gosh, incredible. Claire Bear says, don't worry, you'll get a space shout out if I get there. Good. All right, I'm going to put the shoe on quick. And I'm not putting the thingy in it. The toe thingy, whatever. Okay, let's see. How do we feel? Ooh, not bad. All right, I'm going to try and stand up. This could be really horrible. Let's find out. Yep, suck it in. Here we go. Bloop, bloop. All right, so here's the shoe. Not bad on the elastic. That's feeling pretty good. You can see there's a little bit of wad here, but that's because I have nothing in the shoe. A little bit of stuff would make it work. And again, if I did elastic, I'd put it right there to pull up on the shoe, right there. And then you can see here's where I've darned the toe, and I'm feeling that. That's nice. It's interesting, there's a little bit of pullback in the shoe now. I almost definitely want to put on the elastic. I don't know, it's interesting. What am I feeling there? I don't quite know. Oh, they feel good. I think my feet are just a little bit swollen today, quite honestly. I've been sitting at a desk all day and haven't really warmed up, so interesting. But overall, love these shoes, you guys. I'm definitely going to bake them tonight. That's going to be fabulous. And I will see how I feel about the platform. Yeah, interesting. You can see my arch almost busted out of the shoe, but I'm curious to see how it's going to work out. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. There you have it. That's what we got done today. Well, that's what I got done today. I don't know what y'all got done today, but hopefully it was fun. Oh, wait, a couple more comments. Dawn says, it never crossed my mind that I could be pro. Always thought I was too short. Oh my God, are you serious? Dawn, back in my day, it was all about being the short dancer. Everyone wanted to be short. None of us wanted to be tall. Like, there was a dancer that joined New York City Ballet, and everyone made such a big deal out of it because she was taller, and I think she was only like 5'7" or 8. But yeah, everyone wanted to be tiny. So that's so funny. You think you're too short. Hilarious. And I always thought I was too tall. Claire Bear says, I've always loved how Freeds are really low cut and not baggy. Yeah, Freeds are... Yeah, that's how I feel. Just sigh. I still, though, want to try out Gainer Mittens, you guys. I'm curious. I got to see just what they do. I got to do it. So I'll be saving up my money for a while to see if I can do it. That being said, big shout out to everyone here who showed up tonight. Thank you all for being a part of this. A couple of things to let you guys know. I am doing a live Zoom ballet bar. I call it my broken down, busted up ballet bar. I do it almost every Sunday, pretty much every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is free. If you want to donate, you can. If you are, doing great with money out there, awesome. But I've created this class specifically for people out there who cannot afford to take class and who just want to work through basic technique, muscles, things like that. It helps me on a selfish level. I am working to get my body just coming back into ballet. So a lot of times I'll work a bar where it's mostly pliés and tendus and a little more than that, and then it's stretch and be done. I haven't even gotten to the point yet where I'm doing center, really, right? Or if I do, it's just a couple of jumps. That's it. So if I keep going with it, I might eventually work up to something higher, but This is sort of the class you give yourself before you take class, right? Where you're working things out. If you are interested in joining this Zoom class, please feel free. You do need to be 18 and older, but because I feel that dancers 18 and younger, your bodies are still changing. They still are changing a little bit after that too, but I really want to make sure that you are consulting with your teacher, your parents, etc. Before you join this kind of a ballet bar. I take that seriously. But email me at Georgia Reed, Georgia, R-E-E-D, @gmail.com, and I'll send you the Zoom link, and you can join, okay? If you just need a place to come and work it out. You don't need to wear ballet slippers if you don't want to. You don't even have to turn on your camera. I'm not like watching and giving corrections and stuff like that. This is for all of us, for ourselves, to work on ourselves, okay? So it's super laid back. Anyways, I offer that to everyone out there. What else? I'll be doing this point shoe party again. I'm doing this every Tuesday for the foreseeable future, to get together, talk, work on shoes, get a little bit of stuff done, and commiserate and share, as a community, kind of just our experiences and what's going on in our lives. And so that's that. More videos are coming. I'm working on those. And yeah, I thank you all for being here. Ooh, a few more comments. I want to catch these quick before I go. Dawn says, I'm 4'11", so still shorter than any dancer I know of. Yes, that is short, girl. But if you had been in that modern piece I talked about earlier, you would have been perfect. Because the guy was so tall and the girl was so short that the choreography was actually, at least the way I saw it, it was built for them. So the guy could really toss her in the air, and it made for some beautiful choreography that when I did it, it did not translate as well. It was still cool. It was still, I think I did well on it. I'm going to try and find it and see if I can show a little bit of it. I have to be careful though, because I don't want to overstep the bounds of sharing someone else's choreography online without their permission, But it's not the same. So anyways, but that's so funny. 4'11". I would have loved to have been your height. Claire Bear says, I think 11 a.m. Pacific time is 4 a.m. Australia, so hey, I might join depending on how screwed up my sleep schedule is. Oh my God, that's horrible. Listen, Aussie people, if enough of you get together and say you would like to do a Zoom class with me and you have a decent time that would work for all of us on the weekend, because I work a full-time day job right now. I am getting out of debt. I am getting the hell out of debt. I'm just done. Okay, that's happening. But if that's something you want to consider and talk about, let me know. I will consider it and see if there's something we could work out. That's a big if. Max Daddy says, I'd love to join, and it sounds like a great class, but I'm not doing Zoom anything. I get it. That's okay. But enjoy tonight, and we'll certainly see you next Tuesday. Awesome, Max Daddy. That's awesome. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. You know what I'm going to say. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, shade if you need to. Yeah, I will see you all next week. You've been watching Ballerina Badass. My name is Georgia Reed. Never give up. Never stop dancing. I love you all. Toy, toy, toy. And now's the part where I have to fumble to find the end of the stream thingy. And then I press this and then I say, okay, bye. Is it good?